Evening, ladies and gentlemen. So I've not made a video for a few days, as you probably noticed, or nearly a week, I think, actually. Reason being that I did have a bit of a flu and I wasn't feeling too good. And then I've just been catching up on bits and pieces since then. So the engine project has been on hold for getting on for a week. Not really done much on it. Done little bits, but not a great deal. But this is really just to kind of update everyone on where I'm at with the project. As per the last video, the entire engine is now in bits, pretty much. There's nothing really left to disassemble. Everything has been disassembled, right down to the piston rings, which was the most recent thing that I've done. Since I did the piston rings, all I've really done is a little bit of cleaning on the crankcases. Done a little bit each day over the last few days and just kind of gradually got them into quite a good state. I think uploaded a video at one stage about the cleaning, a time-lapse video. I can't remember when that was. I think that was at the beginning of the week, and since then I've just kind of like completed the cleaning as much as possible. So I was really just going to kind of take a few minutes just now and just kind of like talk about the project in general. So these are the crankcases. We've got the pistons and the conrods over there and the piston rings, as you can see, and we've got the top part of the crankcases here. We've got the bottom part of the crankcases there. That bit is the sprocket, sort of inner sprocket cover for the front sprocket that goes on the side of the gearbox. The gearbox casings and crank casings are integral. This is like the engine part of the crankcases, and this is the gearbox part, and that's where the swing arm mounts, because the swing arm mounts on the onto the gearbox rather than onto the chassis on a VFR800. Anyway, so what I've been doing is I've been cleaning it up with white spirit and basically J-cloth, cheap J-cloth. I got from B&M stores for just pennies pretty much. Obviously you might as well just use cheap cloth, because there's no point in anything using anything expensive, because it's just going to get wrecked when you're doing this heavy duty cleaning. So what I did was I basically kind of scrubbed it up as much as possible with the white spirit and with the rags, got into all the nooks and crannies as much as I could. Anywhere that I couldn't get into the nooks and crannies, what I would do is I'd use a flat blade screwdriver to like scrape the grit and the grease and everything out of these kind of places. Just basically did the best I could with that, and anywhere that it was really stuck on, what I would do is I would use the wire brush. And what I did in several instances where there were like really nasty, greasy, grungy kind of places, like, well, all over the place really. I mean, there were lots of places that were quite bad. For example, these bits around here were really bad, and what I would do basically is I would just tip a little bit of a bit of white spirit, not a huge amount, just a you know, a kind of a splash, and then just get the brush and just, you know, really get in there and get it cleaned out. And that worked really well, and it came up quite decent. And then what I did was, once I'd kind of got like the worst of the grunge off, I basically put it in the shower and put the shower on hot, and got some washing up liquid, a bottle of washing up liquid, and just squirted washing up liquid all over it. Just, again, not a vast quantity, I mean not like half a bottle or anything, but you know, just a good kind of splash all over it. And just left the hot shower on it for about 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. And probably not half an hour, probably more like 20 minutes. And what that's done is it's brought it up really quite nice. It's really kind of thoroughly degreased it, because once I'd been scrubbing it with the white spirit, that kind of got like the heavy grease off, but if you touched it, if you ran your finger across it, it still felt a bit kind of greasy. And then after I put it in the shower with the washing up liquid, it's come up like really kind of clean and dry feeling. It actually feels clean and dry to the touch. If you run your hand across it like that, it sort of feels like, if you imagine if you get like a slab of steel or aluminium from a steel stock holder, and you sort of like cut it with a grinder or something, and you felt, well, maybe not cut it, but maybe just like a slab of aluminium or steel. That's kind of how that surface feels now. It feels kind of like totally free of grease or anything. Doesn't feel greasy or gritty or anything. It just feels like perfect, you know, clean metal, and that goes pretty much for the whole of it, all over, anywhere. So that's worked quite well. There are still some places, actually, some kind of little nooks and crannies that are not quite 100%. And I think it's just basically that nothing's really got into those really awkward places. Even the kind of the water and the white spirit hasn't really gone in there. So what I'm thinking of doing is I've got bathroom wipes from Lidl's, and these were, can't remember, just like £1 or £2. Really not a lot of money. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some wipes, and I'm just going to excuse me, I still got a bit of a cough from the flu. I'm going to get the wipes and just get in about all these places with the wipe, if necessary, just like wrap the wipe around the end of a screwdriver and just, you know what I mean, just get in everywhere and try and get them really spotless, because I just want to get them as spotless as possible before I paint them. I want them to be really, you know, really tip top. But I mean, they are looking really pretty decent. I don't know how well they'll come up in the video, but compared to how they were, I mean, they were greasy, grungy, disgusting, you know, really, really dirty when I started, and they're really looking quite fresh now, so I'm really pleased with that. This bit particularly was quite a job to clean, and to be fair, there's still some dirt in there that I'll need to try and get out with the wipes. In fact, that one's not been in the shower, so I might stick that in the shower for 5 or 10 minutes just to, you know, to give that a good clean. And then the other thing is the pistons. That's a piston crown which is still dirty. It's still carbonised. That's a piston crown which I've cleaned. Now, again, you probably can't tell in the video, but that's like a really nice, smooth. It's properly clean. You know, there's no. If you run your finger across it, it just feels more or less like smooth steel. So that's really pretty nice, because when you compare it to the dirty ones are horrible. You know, you run your finger across it and it's all, you know, carbonised and just disgusting. So I'm quite pleased that was quite easy to do, really. All I did again was just put a splash of white spirit over it, splashed a bit of white spirit on, left it for a few minutes, and then I came back and I just got a flat blade screwdriver, and very carefully, just so as not to scratch the piston, I just scraped it off. Actually scrapes off really easily once it's had a little bit of soaking. I can show you probably just now. Managed to do this with one hand. You just take the screwdriver and it cleans off, the stuff cleans off quite easily. See if I can see, like that. You just scrape it with a flat blade screwdriver and it just comes off. See, and that's that whole kind of area there, cleaned in just a few seconds. It's that easy, really. So that's pretty good. By the way, on another note, the reason that I've cable tied them together like that, the con rods, is so that I know which one goes where and which way around they go and stuff like that. For example, that's a pair that goes in there and the other pair goes on the other side, so it makes it easier putting it all back together again. This was going to be a really short video and it's ended up a bit longer. So basically what I'm going to do next, the next video that I'll be putting up will be taking measurements with a micrometer. So what I'll be doing is like, you know, measuring, I don't know, whatever, the inside of the bores, the pistons and this, that and the other, the crankshaft and all that kind of thing. I'll be using the electronic calipers to measure things and make sure that they're within the correct tolerances. What I'm going to do for that is I'm going to use the Haynes manual. The Haynes manual's got a list at the end of all at the end of the chapter for all the tolerances for all different components, crankshafts and pistons and bearings and this, that and the other, you know, so that's what I'm going to do. But anyway, this has got way too long. It was meant to be just a few minutes and it's nearly 10 minutes, so thanks very much for watching, and please like and subscribe. See you later.